Welcome in to another video. Probably you guys are seeing this on Saturday. I'm recording this right after the video that I'm about to post. Today's Friday. Um, and sorry ahead of time, or I guess behind time, for I wasn't really active on the part that you guys could actually see on the screen while I was just talking, so that video is mostly just like a voiceover of my opinions while you guys can look at almost a blank screen. I messed up on that. I gotta get better at being interactive on the screen of what you guys see. If I'm not doing like a prospect breakdown or stuff like that. But today we're going to be going over something related to the video that I posted on Friday. But more specifically related to the Chargers. So we're going to be talking about players most likely to fall into the range where the Chargers could trade up, players available at 17, and then players available or scenarios available if we trade back. So I just want to highlight a couple of, I'm going to press start draft and then just pause it. Highlight a couple of players who recently I've been seeing fall into sometimes past the Chargers, sometimes within a couple picks of the Chargers. So Derek Stingley, Charles Cross, and Kyle Hamilton. I don't think any of these guys will fall to the Chargers pick or within like 3 picks of the Chargers. But in the mock draft simulator and some recent rumors, these players, they have been available at like the Texans pick, Ravens pick, Eagles pick, around there. And then there was a scenario where Evan Neal fell to 13 just when I was running through these sims, but something like that isn't going to happen. And PFF says that the Chargers would only have to give up pick 17 and 123 to move up to pick 13 so that we could take Evan Neal if he did fall there. But I don't think that's accurate. I looked at the other trade charts and I think picks 17 and 79 would be almost exactly even. We would probably have to swap like our 5th for their 6th or something like that as well. Just because you normally have to give up a little bit more to move up. So the players I wanted to highlight, I'll run through one quick scenario. Derek Stingley, Charles Cross, Kyle Hamilton, I'm just going to use as examples of if the Chargers were, for some reason, going to trade up, this is kind of what that scenario would look like and what the outcomes would be. I know that the director did a video pretty similar to this. He released it yesterday, so Thursday from today. I had already created like the outline and what I was going to say in the mock drafts and stuff for this video before that, so I'm not just copying his idea. But let's skip ahead to, here we are at pick 11. So already Charles Cross, Derek Stingley, Evan Neal, Icky, Sauce. So most of the guys that I would, including the top 4 edges, are all off the board. No quarterbacks went. So if it was a scenario like this, I just don't see if there's any world in that we trade up. Like, yeah, Kyle Hamilton was still there at pick 12, but I love Kyle Hamilton, don't get me wrong. If he slipped to 17, I wouldn't hate that pick. I think I might even like that pick. I probably would, just because he's an incredible player. But any of these other guys, like trading up, just I don't really see happening. Um, so honestly, I'm not going to run through another scenario in which we actually trade up. I'm going to have some scenarios for you guys at the end where I actually want you guys to comment down below which one you like the most. But we're going to start with, or start into the players at pick 17 who could realistically be there. So this is just staying at our pick. What is the board going to look like for the Chargers at pick 17? There's going to be, most likely, according to most big boards, most mock drafts, Jameson Williams will be there at pick 17. A guy like Devin Lloyd, a guy like Jordan Davis, and then a guy in the middle who I've been coming around to a lot as one of my favorite picks. If he is there at 17, I would be pretty floored if he was. I was torn between including him in the trade up tier or the players at 17. But George Karlaftis, I've seen fall into the Chiefs' lap at like pick 30, fall into the 20s a lot, which I would just be shocked if he fell that far. But if George Karlaftis was there at 17, I think that would be a great pick. But guys like Trent McDuffie, Jameson Williams, Devontae Wyatt, Jordan Davis, I mean, that's really this tier of, I mean, Chris Olave as well, Trevor Penning, sort of around this range as well. But that's really it. That group of players is who is going to be available at pick 17. Some might be taken before pick 17, some might be taken well after pick 17, but in general, that's where the consensus is. So we could take a Jameson Williams, a Devin Lloyd, a Jordan Davis. My favorite possibly would be like a George Karlaftis. A Trent McDuffie is another good pick. So staying at pick 17, there's going to be good players available still. But in my mind, as I sort of explained in the video that I would have posted yesterday for you guys, draft tiers, I view a lot of these guys in the same tier. So like objectively, not just for the Chargers, I would view a Trent McDuffie, Bernard Ryman, Jameson Williams, Devontae Wyatt. Like those guys are kind of in a tier. I guess Tyler Linderbaum, honestly. And then trading down though opens it up to just a whole nother tier where snagging a pick at the tail end of the first starts to look pretty nice just because of how many picks you can get back. We traded away that second round pick for Khalil Mack. So we have picks 17 and 79. Those are our only two picks in the top 100. I talked about for a while the value of top 100 picks, how that's the core of your team. I mean, if you look at a lot of teams, I'm not going to go into trading picks for players just because that could be an entirely different video. But hitting on guys in later rounds, yes, it's nice, but it's pretty rare. If you hit or miss on top 100 picks, that is the biggest difference maker in the future of your franchise. And accumulating more of those top 100 picks, I just think is so important. So once again, if we stayed at 17, we'd have 17 and 79. We could fill a need. We would have a guy like Trevor Penning or Bernard Ryman. Bernard Ryman is honestly, this is sort of PFF biased because Bernard Ryman I've seen go in the second round a lot, more often in the 20s or like 30s. I think I would be most comfortable with him in the 20s. I'm not quite as high on him as like 13th overall in the draft, like PFF is. But I still like him as a first round prospect, just later first round. But I could very, very easily see him falling into the second round if I wasn't drafting. So what could actually happen on draft day? But those are just some guys that I wanted to highlight, and that's sort of the scenario where the waters are for pick 17. I'm just going to see if, okay, so I'm going to reload and try and get it to where the Lions come up and take pick 17, just because that's been the best scenario for what I've seen for the Chargers. Really, any of the late 20s picks would be nice, and I think the Lions, okay, most of the time when Karlaftis is here, the Lions still want to come up. Honestly, let's free ball it. So if we got pick, let's just say 30, 50, and 60, okay, yeah, 94, if we throw in pick 62 and 94. And then like a third next year, fourth next year, and then to even out. So this would be a pretty even trade, I want to say. Yeah, this, I mean, as a Chargers fan, I would definitely love this. What would, so that brings it way down. What about that? Okay, so that works. Yeah, as a Chargers fan, I would love this. The Chiefs in this scenario, I mean, they have a good amount of picks now. They come up, probably grab Karlaftis, which would be a pretty good pick for them. I don't know about it wouldn't be a great move for them, but they want to do it. I've traded down with the Lions a lot, and in the scenario that I'm going to lay out for you guys at the end, it would be a trade with the Lions. Sorry, there's like crap on my computer. So let's go ahead and do this one just so that we can lay out what the draft would look like for the Chargers if we did this real quick. So Chiefs come up just to sort of even out. I gave them one of our sevenths just because we're getting 4 picks in return. You don't normally see like 1 pick for 4 picks. Honestly, there'd be more like pick exchanges in this as well. But we trade down to pick 29 in the first round. We get pick 62 in the second round, and then pick 94 in the third round, and then a 4th round pick next year as well. So trading down, so they want to trade up for Jameson Williams. No, George Karlaftis, yeah. And just like that, like I said, Bernhard Raimann still on the board. I would feel more comfortable with Bernhard Raimann being penciled in as our right tackle this year than Trey Pipkins. I think that, yeah, in this scenario, we could keep Matt Filer at left guard, Bernhard Raimann right tackle, re-sign Ode Ibushi, possibly still draft another guard a little bit later. This is a pretty strong O-line class. Overall, I would say it's a deep O-line class, not very... It's deep. I'll say that. Pause. So at pick 29, guys, Treylon Burks normally isn't here for this pick. Where Kaiir Elam went early, pick 18, Andrew Booth. So a couple of guys to highlight who I think would be here at the tail end of the first round. Kaiir Elam, Daxton Hill, Zion Johnson, Andrew Booth, Sky Moore, Treylon Burks, Jalen Petrie, Bernard Ryman, like that group of guys, that tier of guys. And honestly, possibly Jordan Davis. I would see. I'm. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Jordan Davis in Chargers uniform, but just not at pick 17. If he fell for some reason into the mid to late second round, because that's a little bit more of where I value him. If that turned out, I would go from the biggest. I seem like a Jordan Davis hater right now just because I don't think the value is there in the first round. But I would go from Jordan Davis hater to a worshiper, because I would love to see him in a Chargers uniform. That would be sick. He would contribute a lot to this defense. I want him to be on the field a little bit more to take him in the first round. So those are some guys. I would enjoy Sky Moore. I would like a corner, whether it's Booth or Elam, Hill. I don't know how I feel about in the first. Zion Johnson, I would really like at the tail end of the first. And then Bernard Ryman, Jalen Petrie, Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks, I wouldn't even hate at the end of the first. I would actually like that a good bit. But in this scenario, we're going to go with Bernard Ryman. So that just, like, in my mind, no brainer. Locking down that right tackle position. No brainer. Huge hole for us. And right here in this situation, I mean, there's just so many good edge players in this tier. I bet a lot went in the second round. Yeah, so even right after my pick, you're looking at David Ajabo, Arnold Ebiketie, Boye Mafe. I like Travis Jones a lot as well. Drake Jackson, Love, Nick Bonito. I like Perion Winfrey, Leo Chanel. I like at linebacker, Logan Hall. There's just a lot of good front seven players, a lot of good starters in the second round, even going into the third a little bit. I really like Brian Asamoah. In like this, honestly, this range, late second, early third. I would like him more in the third personally. Right here, I'm probably going to go Cameron Thomas. Inside outside versatility, man. I really like Troy Anderson as well, but I just don't think it's realistic. I don't think we would go with Troy Anderson even if he was here. So I'm going to go Cameron Thomas, and we've already filled our right tackle need, and we have filled our edge 3 need. We still have Brian Asamoah on the board. We still have Marcus Jones, Zach Tom, some interior guys, Zion McCollum, Cordero Flott. So we have pick 94. I'll probably go corner then because, or actually, Calvin Austin already went, didn't he? Yeah, Calvin Austin already went, so I would probably went right tackle, edge. And the point of this is this isn't supposed to be mock draft, it's just laying out what we can get for trading down and the idea of getting 4 players instead of 1 in the top. I mean, right now we would have 2 players in the top 100. If we stayed at 17, if we traded up, we'd probably have to give up 79 if we want to trade up a good bit, and we would only have 1 pick in the top 100. In this scenario, we get 4 picks in the top 100. We already filled our right tackle hole, our edge 3 need. I wouldn't love Justin Ross here. I just don't think he's really a fit. So, I mean, I have to go Brian Asamoah just because of the value. He reminds me a little bit of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from last year. He's an undersized linebacker, but I just think he's gonna be possesses sideline range. I just think he's gonna be a good NFL player, and give us depth at linebacker. There's other guys here that I like, but once again, let's take advantage of a falling player, because the more picks that you have as well, that's what this one transfers into fantasy football as well. This is why I don't like having back-to-back picks, so either like the first pick or the 10th or 12th pick, or however many guys you have in your draft having the last pick. Because if you have back-to-back picks, it's harder to, or just bigger gaps from one you pick, it's harder to take advantage of falling players, because like I said before, it's rare that you're going to see an objectively top player fall very far, but more often you will see, if teams lock into a player or just really don't need that position, you could see a pretty good player. I'm trying to think of an example, but I guess in this scenario, Brian Asamoah would be the example. But you can see a good player have a little mini fall, kind of like fall one round or half a round, and the more picks that you have, you would be more likely to be in striking distance of taking advantage of that fall. If we just have pick 13, if we trade up, and then pick 123, there could be a guy on our board who's like there in the late second who we still have a first round grade on, or like an early second, and it's like we want to take him. We know that he's falling, we know that he should have gone earlier, or we think that he should have gone earlier. Just teams are passing on him because they don't need that position, or they're just going elsewhere right now, but we're not there to take advantage of that. So that's another area of thought. I don't think I drafted a linebacker in the situation I'm about to lay out, but honestly, who's just the next corner? Zion McCollum. Dude, Zion McCollum, I gotta get his tape somehow, because he was just an unbelievably freaky athlete at the combine. I don't think I'm gonna be able to. Or here, so let me lay out the actual trade back scenario real quick. Lions wanted to come up from 32 pretty often. I don't see this actually happening, but I was able to get pick 32, 64, and 97, and a third next year for pick 17 and one of our sevenths, just to even it out a little bit. This would be my dream scenario. So many starters available in the top 100, but the high-end blue chip guys are very limited in this draft. So still get a guy in the first round with that fifth-year option. Bernard Ryman, Kyer Elam, and Sky Moore are the guys that I highlighted here, as just like some guys to keep your eye on. At the tail end of that first round. I'm going to have to pull this up because I got to scooch up. Bingo, I think. Yeah, so here's the would you rather for you guys in the comments. Would you rather use pick 17 and 79 to move up to pick probably 13 and take Charles Cross or Derek Stingley? You have your choice. And have no more picks until pick 123. Or take Jamison Williams and Kellen Diesch with picks. It would be 73 and our pick in the 70s or 90s or something, I think. And pick 79. So Jameson Williams and Kellen Diesch, who would be possibly a starting tackle, but just kind of depth at that position, a little bit more insurance. Or in the trade back scenario, would you rather have Bernhard Raimann starting right tackle, Cameron Thomas, edge 3, inside outside versatility, Calvin Austin, freaky wide receiver prospect athlete, and Marcus Jones, freaky returner and could be cornerback 4. If one of our starting outside corners gets hurt, you can kick Asante outside, bring Marcus Jones into the slot, or if Asante gets hurt, you can just bring Marcus Jones into the slot, and he would be your starting returner. And so Bernhard Raimann, Cameron Thomas, Calvin Austin, Marcus Jones, all of those guys line up with like would realistically be available with the picks that I laid out in the Lions trade. So pick 32, 64, and 97. And our own pick of 79. So those are all realistic options at those spots. Would you rather trade up and get Trellis Cross or Derek Stingley? Stick with our picks. Take Jameson Williams and Kellen Diesch. Might be Diesch. I think it's just Diesch. Or trade back and get Bernhard Raimann, Cameron Thomas, Calvin Austin, and Marcus Jones. Those are all top 100 picks in every scenario without getting rid of any of these picks. So like what'll those be? Day 3 picks, all of them, I think. Yeah. So let me know in the comments which scenarios you guys would prefer. And once again, I still haven't done it. I haven't edited that first video, but hopefully it worked out, the little exit outro thing. But let me know if it works in the comments. And let me know which scenario you guys like the most. That's going to do it though. Like, comment, subscribe. Sports with Schu. I'll see you in the next video.